Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back, Bulldogs. I'm Luke, and this is KHS News. Now, as we all know, we're quarantined right now, but the show must go on. First off, we have Grant Remy with some political commentary. Hit it, Grant.
With the new world order created by the pandemic that is the coronavirus, many countries are scrambling to contain it in order to maintain both the safety of their people and their reputations as first and second world countries. However, the desire of these countries to maintain their reputations has caused some to misreport and even openly lie about their number of cases of coronavirus and death tolls. It wasn't until April 1st that China began reporting asymptomatic cases, which many doctors claim account for a large portion of the people infected.
You could see where they didn't want to create a crisis. They wanted to show leadership. They wanted people to remain calm.
Teresa Payton, the author of Manipulated, Inside the Cyber War to Hijack Elections and Distort the Truth, has been tracking China's misinformation campaigns for years and believes the Communist Party wants to protect the country's status as one of the world's top economies.
They then have a lot to gain by manipulating the rest of the world right now because they need their factories to get up and running.
However, China isn't the only country that seems to be masking its coronavirus case numbers. Italy, who once had the fastest rising infection rate and death toll, is now being applauded for taking action and slowing the amount of cases they've received. However, many U.S. officials are saying that the death toll is being undercounted.
These are the empty beds that used to belong to patients who died of COVID-19, doctors say. But the unnerving thing is that they weren't tested before they died, so they don't appear in the official number of COVID-19 deaths in Italy.
Remember, statistics you see on the news aren't necessarily true and can be easily manipulated. And as always, stay safe, Bulldogs.
Nice take, Grant. Next up, we have Dorian and Job on the Olympics and their cancellation.
As the spread of COVID-19 continues, families are being asked to reduce close contact between people.
This is called social distancing. It's an important and effective way to slow down the virus. Here's why.
Away from others until we feel better or until we are no longer contagious. The spread of disease slows down.
It may be possible that a person could get COVID-19 by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it, and then touching their own mouth, nose, or eyes. However, this is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. COVID-19 can live for hours or days on a surface depending on factors such as sunlight and humidity. Social distancing helps limit contact with infected people and contaminated surfaces. COVID-19 spreads mainly among people who are in close contact within about 6 feet for a prolonged period. Spread happens when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks, and droplets from their mouth or nose are launched into the air and lands in the mouth or noses of the people nearby. The droplets can also be inhaled into lungs. Recent studies indicate that people who are infected but do not have symptoms likely also play a role in the spread of COVID-19. These are some tips for social distancing. Follow guidelines from authorities where you live. If you need to shop for food or medicine at the grocery store or pharmacy, stay at least 6 feet away from others. Avoid large and small gatherings in private places and public spaces, such as friends' house, parks, restaurants, shops, or any other place. Work from home when possible. If possible, avoid using any kind of public transportation, ride-sharing, or taxis.
Boy, do I love the Olympics. Next up, Tyrell and Amna have a close-up look on how restaurants are doing during the COVID-19 crisis.
Could we be looking at more closures or, a mandate that all bars and restaurants close nationwide?
No dining in inside restaurants. Pickup and carry out and delivery only.
If it continues like this, we're not going to have our favorite restaurants anymore. These places are really, maybe a week or a couple weeks from going belly up.
So to have 3 out of 12 tables right now is unusual.
Barbecue to go, that's what it's going to be here for at least the next 15 days.
Tell me about just how it felt when you heard that.
Well, it's been a long day.
Just like other cities around the world, our lovely, innovative, and active city of Houston has also begun to feel the effects of the COVID-19 outbreak. A question yet to be answered is, what will happen to the rest of our local food businesses in the Houston area? Some consider drive-through only, some consider closure, and even often heard as takeout only. Though a member of KHS Amna is giving us an inside look on how her family restaurant is doing during the COVID-19 outbreak. Please enjoy.
Hey, it's Amna Zakaria, and I'm here to report on Alpha and how business is during this time. It's actually half of what it was before Corona even started because people are scared to go out and buy food due to germs being spread. But precautions we are taking at this time is actually wearing gloves, wearing masks. We are also doing curbside pickup, which is required at this moment. Our backup plan is just to get business where it was before and eventually have it open during the week, because at this time we are open only during the weekend from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eventually market back and get back up, and eventually business will be at where it was at its best. Thank you.
There remains to be hope in the food industry, so don't count them out yet. Remember, just stay safe out there, Bulldogs.
Thanks, Tyrell and Amna. Next up is me, on a tutorial on how to make a mask so you can safely leave your home. For the mask, you're going to need a shirt, some rubber bands, and some scissors. Also, it's very important that the shirt is 100% cotton. You're going to want to cut just below the sleeves of the shirt and get a nice big piece. Then you're going to want to fold both sides to the middle, make sure it's even. Then you're going to want to fold it again to the middle, make sure it's nice and flat. Then you're going to grab one of those rubber bands, put it on one side. If it's a little big, you can put it over twice like I did. And then you're going to grab the other rubber band, do the same thing on the other side. Again, if it's a little too big, you can just double it over. But just make sure that the whole piece of fabric stays flat throughout the whole thing. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is just fold in both sides. And there you go. You're ready to go out on the town, maybe go to H-E-B, Walmart, get some groceries, anything you want to do, you're now safe from the coronavirus. Man, that last guy was talented. Speaking of talent, Leia has a video all about how Instagram has become a safe haven for talented musicians to show their work.
Hello, my name is Leia Sutton and I am from KAHS News. I will be reporting on the entertainment industry during COVID-19. Since the worldwide quarantine began, entertainers around the globe started using the copious amounts of social media platforms to continue their line of work when the world can't see it in person. Top entertainer Jimmy Fallon is filming his late night shows from his house with his wife behind the camera chuckling every now and again and his children popping in and saying hello. Jimmy still interviews his guests, but via video calls, and if you ask me, they're so much more dynamic and I think everyone can get something out of it. Other entertainers, such as musicians, are still producing content as well. Indie pop singer Rex Orange County has taken to Instagram Live to showcase his talents. He even did a concert for his fans through a live stream. I'm sure his supporters really appreciated it. Speaking of Instagram Live, a few DJs are using Instagram to have beat battles with other DJs. It's intense, but they're getting pretty creative. That's one way to stay busy and keep your fans happy. Now that everybody is home, the amount of exposure to entertainment is at an all-time high. Companies and small businesses are already jumping on this. So when you finish watching your next video, it might not be too bad of an idea to get your own work out there.
Great stuff as always, Leia. Next, a video on the importance of social distancing.
Hey there, Bulldogs. I'm Ahmed Shaw from KHS News, and here's why it's important to practice social distancing during this time. For starters, COVID-19 is a contagious virus, and it can pass on through any sort of human contact of any kind. Social distancing means staying 6 feet apart from each other minimum to prevent the virus from spreading from person to person. Another key part of social distancing is staying inside y'all's homes. I know it's tempting to leave the house and go somewhere, but believe me, the more you stay inside your house, the more likely this pandemic will end. No, if you have no sort of symptoms or feel fine, you may still pass on the virus, so that's why it's important to stay your distance at least 6 feet minimum and remain safe. Remember, practice social distancing and remain safe. I hope to see y'all again, Bulldogs.
Well, Bulldogs, that's all we have for this week. Make sure you stay safe, wash your hands, and stay inside. This has been KHS News.